Okay. So, hi everyone, I'm Michael Baeyens, but everyone calls me Mitch, and yes, I'm French, sorry, so I apologize in advance for the occasional accent attack. I'm delighted to be here in Zurich, speaking in front of such a diverse and international audience. And I had the privilege of leading the design teams at France Télévisions, the French public broadcaster, and the country's biggest TV network for 10 years. And today I support over 200 consultants in their product practices as part of a large French tech consultancy. In this talk, I'm not going to share with you any feedback or operational advice to help you make an impact on your daily work. I won't be giving you pragmatic and operational solutions. Because I was born a designer, I'm naturally attuned to the materials around us and the way we interact with them. And because I come from a product culture, I care about the value we create, the impact we deliver, our processes, and our business models. And because my first job was in strategic planning, I'm in constant watch mode, absorbing and analyzing trends, and I'll try to shed some lights on what's coming and help raise awareness about the challenges ahead. Our daily lives threw us into a tunnel. We all have our heads down. We don't take the time to step back and reflect. I suggest we take a bit of that time right now. When we do foresight work, there are three ways to approach the future: projection, fiction, and in between, foresight. Projection means pulling a thread from the present, assuming the world remains structurally the same, but we now see how increasingly difficult it is to project the future this way. Fiction is about imagining impossible futures, which often shape our ability to envision them and ultimately to make them possible. And foresight, which happens to be my original field, is about connecting the dots, mapping out future possibilities from scattered and shifting data and weak signals to imagine what tomorrow might become. In this talk, my goal is to spark your thinking. No one will walk away with the exact same takeaways. Some things will resonate more with some than others. I share a journey that unfolds through a chain reaction like a series of dominoes, falling in an unstoppable logic. Voilà. The Adams curve warns us, in a world that moves faster and faster, the more progress we make, the harder it becomes to adapt. As users, we are already under constant pressure, and as product teams, everything is speeding up, and time to market is shrinking dramatically. We've moved beyond the world that science could still predict into a new realm, where technology evolves faster than our ability to forecast its consequences. No one can truly predict the future anymore because it now sits right on the edge of the present. What's breaking news in the morning could be outdated by the end of the day. And as my grandmother used to say, you can stop the tide with a mop. On May 20th, I spoke at La ProductConf Paris, delivering a rather unusual talk that turned out to be a tremendous success. And after 16 performances, that talk returned at PMF in Zurich today. With predictions already fulfilled and change accelerating, today I present an updated version, UI0. For over 50 years, digital products have relied on graphical interfaces. Until now, we've continuously evolved these interfaces to better meet our users' expectations. We've adapted them to their context of use, to their devices. We've made them appealing, engaging. We added more and more features. We simplified tasks for consumers who, until now, were mostly human beings. But the rise of generative AI has changed our world. From now on, anyone can create a custom visual, a video, build a product, a website, or even a full application. Almost instantly and with disconcerting ease. It has never been easier to generate visuals. It has never been easier to edit visuals. We can now edit a video just like retouching a photography. Today, you can generate an interface from simple wireframes. And from simple wireframes, you can prototype and generate a fully functional application. You can now sketch and ideate faster than ever. You can instantly replicate a graphical interface and regenerate it. You can clone an entire website with its backend in natural language through a simple chat or with your voice. Even the interviews, even the tests, AI can now run them on its own, anytime, anywhere, and deliver insights with surgical precision. You can now develop and iterate. What used to take weeks now take just a few hours. What once required a full team can now be done by a single person. What used to cost tens of thousands of dollars is now almost free. The technical barrier to development is collapsing completely. From a Kanban without coding, you can now delegate any issue to an agent that fixes bugs in the background and updates the status automatically. Assistants act like pair programmers, explaining their reasoning step by step, sharing architecture decisions, trade-offs, and best practices. AI knows your stack, it detects corrupted data, runs natural language automated tests, and documents everything in real time. No longer black boxes. It has never been easier to generate a database, authentication, storage, or API keys. Now you just prompt and the backend is ready. A new generation is coming, AI-native products that will never again have to choose between building and scaling. We can now command agents with nothing but a whisper and ask them to write code, handle deployment, manage hosting, and even maintain our services. This widespread access to product creation will likely trigger an exponential explosion, similar to the one we witnessed at the dawn of the app stores. Today, anyone, whether you're a PM, a designer, or a developer, can design, prototype, deploy, and iterate completely autonomously without any design or coding skills. The boundaries between our areas of expertise are collapsing. We are about to witness the hybridization of our roles. We are about to see teams shrink. We'll stop writing roadmaps and PRDs and start delivering value instantly by prototyping. We'll stop forecasting impact and simply observe it. Even more radically, our product interfaces will learn and iterate on their own in real time. Machines will rapidly evolve, A/B testing variations entirely on their own. We will no longer need human producers to think through and suggest how our products should be arranged. Products will no longer be controlled by complex organizations that demand justification for every action, diplomacy, and an endless negotiation. No more compromises, no more wasting time. AI is reshuffling the deck and challenging the very structure of our companies. Products will no longer be designed to serve a broad user base. They will dynamically adapt content to our individual needs. Interfaces will evolve continuously right before our eyes. No more UX designers, no more UI, no more data analysts, no more A/B testers, no more QA. In the future, our children will likely be surprised that we once used the same interface, the same one for everyone. They'll be puzzled that navigating meant adapting to each interface, each product, each checkout flow. They'll wonder why our interfaces look the same for years, and why new features and technical bricks were added at such a slow pace. The very concept of a redesign, visual or brand related, might be completely foreign to them. And while we're still endlessly trying to install processes in our organizations and have been failing to truly implement an agile culture for decades, and I'm not even talking about design, Sam Altman calls out the inefficiency of our current human structures and predicts the disappearance of product teams. Because honestly, if a startup were to launch today, chances are it would make very different choices in how it structures its teams and its technical infrastructure. Voila. Oh, and there's more. The AI agent can now easily read our interfaces, even when they're ugly and poorly designed. It can navigate like a human. It watches, it acts, it understands the consequences of its actions, and it even anticipates our needs. Models are now shifting from language, the LLMs, to action, the LAMs, redrawing the boundaries of automation. The agent can understand intent, make decisions, and interact with the world by autonomously browsing the web, controlling smart devices, and even playing video games. The agent is now able to reproduce journeys that were designed for humans on its own, directly within the interface. And yet, here comes the paradox. At a time when it has never been easier to build interfaces, to code them, and to iterate, and when AI agents are now fully capable of reading and evolving them, the graphical interface may very well be a dying species. New protocols like MCPs allow AIs to communicate with one another and access our product data via APIs without ever needing to use our interfaces. Like a child who once needed picture to communicate, the digital environment has grown and now speaks fluently. Maybe the UI was only ever a transitional tool, soon to become obsolete. For 20 years, Google has carefully organized the internet, forcing publishers to follow its rules. By shaping editorial practices and data structuring, Google turned the web into a standardized taxonomy. Websites now all look like uniform knowledge bases, semantic tags, tables of content, FAQs, structured schemas, and so on. Another paradox, this uniform structuring of the web made content easily digestible and enabled AIs to crawl and massively exploit it. A golden opportunity for Google's new competitors, AI agents, who can now effortlessly browse, extract, and synthesize information. These agents rely on this structured corpus to deliver direct synthetic answers to users and are increasingly competing not only with Google, but also with the traditional traffic to our own websites. On the other hand, unlike the web, the app market evolved under a closed model structured around the two dominant stores you all know. These stores were never open or indexable by search engines like Google, and apps remained the very embodiment of interfaces designed to respond instantly and intuitively to human beings and human beings alone. And surprisingly, Microsoft CEO has announced the end of apps and the SaaS model. And ChatGPT killed the concept of apps as we knew it, creating the conversational App Store. We are gradually witnessing the disappearance of search engines replaced by answer engines. Navigation is fading away, and now the agent chooses for us. Traditional SEO aims to optimize for a search engine built around pages, but generative AIs don't care about pages. They only aim to deliver answers. We've moved from search to intent. To meet this new need, we'll have to create content optimized first and foremost for AI, not just for human reading. We'll need to stop designing user journeys and start designing intention paths, where the AI navigates through APIs and makes decisions on our behalf. From now on, directly from the OS, browsers will seamlessly move from one service, from one app to another, to book reservations, send emails, add calendar invites, place orders, find our way, read content, without us ever touching a button. For the first time, we've crossed the symbolic threshold. The web is now more consumed by robots than by humans. And by 2030, some experts predict that bots could generate up to 90% of web traffic, pushing human usage to the margins. What happens when we realize that human traffic on our products has become residual? The new AAA-RRR now plays out between agents. It's a true shift. The agent becomes the recommender, and it's no longer the consumer we'll need to please, but the agent. While we still struggle to explain the value of user-centered approaches, we are already no longer designing primarily for users, but for layers of AI agents. And if the new consumers are robots, what choice would an informed PM make upon realizing that 90% of their product's consumption comes from bots? Would they still prioritize the human? Chances are graphical interfaces will disappear. Voilà. So voilà, but that's not all. What's more, we're witnessing live the mutation of the graphical interface into the conversational interface. The experience becomes simple. I speak, the agent acts like a personal assistant and delivers a response tailored to my unique need. Navigation becomes implicit and agents are replacing interfaces. Goodbye filtering, searching, and shopping carts. The agent will handle all of that for us. We'll need to start thinking about interfaces that are no longer seen, but invoked. Whether it's to search for information online, operate applications, or control connected devices, talking to an AI is quickly becoming a reflex for a growing share of the population.
Hey, ChatGPT.
Voice recognition has transformed how we use our phones, now held horizontally.
So I would love your advice.
The friction that once slowed down the adoption of Siri or Alexa will soon be gone. Complex user flows, limited understanding of nuance, and poor navigation across services used to hurt the experience of early virtual assistants. But now, the illusion is convincing enough that we are willing to play along. They no longer need to be perfect, just believable. Language is becoming increasingly natural. Agents now understand unscripted requests and can hold real conversations. The feeling of interaction has already become almost indistinguishable from a human-to-human exchange.
Hey there.
They respond instantly, can be interrupt, know how to modulate their voice, adapt to context, and even simulate whispering or emotions, all of which naturally increase our sense of trust. Interfaces will start displaying previews and repackaging our content. Reformatting results based on images and information pulled from elsewhere on the internet, in other words, directly from our own products. And if pages are no longer displayed, then interfaces disappear too, and data is pulled directly from products without ever showing them. Most AI integration within our own products will simply become obsolete because they'll sit behind interfaces that no one visits anymore. No one except robots. Welcome to the era of invisible products. Brands are fading, blending into browsers and operating systems. No more UI, no more visual identity, no more branding, at least not as we knew it. UX is becoming invisible to AI agents, and this will fundamentally change the way we design digital experiences. More than just windows to the web, browsers are becoming contextual agents that orchestrate work instead of merely displaying pages. By integrating into our browsers, they now access all our data and tools acting within a complete digital environment. The era of simple Q&A is over. This is no longer assistive AI, it's a chain of reasoned automation. Agents are no longer just assistants, they are operators, contextual agents. They now not only have a brain to reason, but also coordinated abilities to act, hands to execute, and memory to never forget. All within the same flow, without constant supervision, while still leaving you in control at any time. Digital products will no longer be things we explore, but predictive answers to our needs. Agents will remember our journeys, anticipating with ease and creating hyper-personalized experiences shaped by our preferences and behaviors. These new intelligent layers will be directly integrated into our operating systems, all of it designed to reduce our cognitive load. And they will naturally disrupt the way we consume and design digital products. We are entering the era of intentional design, which means why solve user problems when we can predict them in advance? Or why hold on to cognitive load when we can simply hand it over to someone else? As we said, Google still commands a significant share of traffic today, but it pays billions to remain the default search engine in Safari on iOS. And Apple is currently actively exploring alternatives to Google. Like its Chinese cousin Baidu, Google is now experimenting with an AI mode, but is it already too late? The battle for the first point of contact is already underway. The question now is which OS, which agent, or which browser will win the first move advantage. ChatGPT holds a strong lead, closely followed by Gemini, DeepSeek, and Grok. And here, Visa already allows AI agents to buy things for us frictionlessly. Will you trust them? The highest player in the value chain is always the one who wins. With the new Buy For Me feature, Amazon's agents, since it can now browse like a human, can offer to purchase a product even if it's not on their own catalog. It's no longer about suggesting alternatives when something unavailable. It's about staying the primary point of contact. And all of this is already happening. Back in May, it was only a vision, and now ChatGPT has launched Instant Checkout, partnering with Stripe, Shopify, and more. The first truly integrated checkout. You can now complete your purchase directly inside ChatGPT. Voilà. So, what does this mean for our brand and our products when they no longer have an interface? When our brands lose their visual identity, they'll only be recognizable by the tone of their content and the images representing their products. Graphic design was once a powerful tool for brand distinction, but in its pursuit of efficiency, industrialization creates standards which inevitably erase any form of distinction and originality. Look at your car, your laptop, your phone, your smartwatch, your wireless earbuds. From websites to apps, every physical product, everything is converging into a kind of global design template, clean, functional, predictable, but also boring. Standardized to the extreme, interfaces and user journeys have become interchangeable. AI is now set to bypass the last territory brands still had control over. Brands can no longer decide how or where they are distributed. I can now simply say out loud to display the new product line from a well-known brand, then ask to filter only the models in a specific color and shape, and compare them with those from another well-known competing brand. Or even refine my selection to make a purchase by choosing only the All Blacks model, for example. And all of this, even when it comes to luxury products, which are traditionally known for controlling their distribution environments. Scale-ups were often built on models of disintermediation. They streamlined, simplified, or removed the middleman between users and services. But with the rise of conversational agents, a new layer is emerging, and yesterday these intermediators may themselves be disintermediated. We'll have to come to terms with putting our products in the hand of these new intermediaries and accept that the collection of consumer data is now being disintermediated too. And on second thought, we've already gotten used to consuming content that is refurbished, reformatted, reaggregated, in which our brands are diluted. But this time, it's different. Generative AI is no longer just a tool for work or entertainment. It's becoming a personal coach, a teacher, a therapist, a confidant, and sometimes even a life companion. People open up more easily because AI doesn't judge, listens endlessly, and is always ready to meet our slightest need. We're witnessing a shift in the trust relationship. Trust is quietly changing hands. Someone close to me, who made the trip to be here today, told me something a few months ago. Just like in this testimony, ChatGPT made them cry. Not long ago, that kind of emotion belonged only to art, poetry, or music. If users are willing to share their most intimate secrets with them, just imagine the influence these agents will have on how our consumers relate to our products. What this means for brands is clear. Trust is shifting away from us and toward these AIs. Now that users place blind trust in their bots, we no longer have any control over what is said about us. What will the agents say about our product or our brand? We have no idea. The influence of social networks, reviews, media, and wikis no longer affects only the collective, it impacts each person individually. Voilà. But we tend to see only the dark side. Let's try to look at the glass half full. All of this is likely an opportunity to unlock new possibilities. First, remember the history of digital is full of these pivotal moments. Disruption has always been a constant in the digital world. Google, Apple, Amazon, Salesforce, YouTube, Napster, Spotify. All these examples show that technology often brings about a new dominant interface, which suddenly will distribute value across the entire market. Will products inevitably become dependent on these environments? Will we have to concede 30% of our revenue, just like we do with the app stores? Are we heading into a new race for visibility, or will we have to pay just to earn the right to appear? This redistribution is shaking up the hegemony of the giants and could lead to a fairer, more balanced playing field. It's an opportunity for smaller, emerging brands to claim a lion's share of attention. Agents can scan far more content than any human ever could. Humans typically only click on a handful of links in a result page. The products that move first will likely be the ones to come out on top. They'll need to transform themselves to become truly plug and play by opening up their APIs and developing assistants that can interact with these agents. They'll need to adapt to the new rules of discoverability, which require enabling agents to clearly respond to user intent by creating injection-ready formats and anticipating conversational queries. And when you think about it from a design perspective, this shift is also an incredible opportunity. For years, we've been running user tests, conducting interviews, observing behavior to understand our users' needs and expectations. And now, finally, users are naturally expressing their intentions, whereas before we were always trying to guess them. It's an incredible opportunity to deliver real value, to solve actual needs. Natural language will allow us to focus on intention rather than on navigating interfaces. The natural formulation of goals will let us align with the very way the human brain works. And finally, we'll be able to focus on outcomes rather than on processes. For decades, design lived a deterministic world. We knew the rules, we shaped the flows, we controlled every pixel, every path, every state. But those days are gone. We've entered a probabilistic world, one where systems learn, adapt, and improvise. We no longer design for control, we design within uncertainty. We'll have to learn to design systems that decide, not just systems that follow instructions. And for designers, that changes everything. The question isn't, can the user complete the task? The real question now is, how can we help the user trust what the AI is doing? But more than anything, we'll have to adapt to the growing proportion of non-human users. Our work will shift toward the sociology of relationships and interactions between humans and robots. Our role will no longer to be to design flows and screens, but to optimize the interaction between AI and humans. We spend years building paths. Now it's time to start designing relationships. We are not just designing products anymore, we are designing teammates. We are already seeing it in our daily work. Agile transformation will be left behind in favor of collaborations with robots. Robots are already knocking at the door of our meeting like ordinary teammates. We're starting to interact with new colleagues faster, more efficient, who don't hesitate, don't take vacations, and don't sleep at night. In the era where usage was king, while older generations struggled to get comfortable with tablets, a child problem was understanding why you can't zoom on a book. Today, young Zoomers, my son included, are already perfectly at ease with this new alternative life form surrounding us. They let apps run beside them on their smartphones, idle games that play by themselves. And while those little games play by themselves, they are off playing Fortnite on their PlayStation, chatting with an AI-powered Darth Vader. They're already being conditioned to coexist with these entities. This new generation no longer thinks in terms of usage, but in terms of coexistence. For them, just like for us, the machine is already a social being. We must start factoring this coexistence into our product vision now. We all know it. An entire generation is saying it loud and clear. Our contemporaries will no longer find meaning or self-realization through work. And there's a good chance they may end up not working at all. What will we offer all these humans who are searching for meaning? Entertainment? Personal development? Sport? Hiking? When everything can be produced without us, what's left? We'll have to find a new purpose to life, and maybe that's the mission of product teams. The product of tomorrow may not just solve a problem, it may offer a direction, a reason. Out of opportunity, or perhaps opportunism, we keep generating new needs and sometimes even solving problems that weren't really problems to begin with. Maybe our role as product people will be to refocus and start addressing needs that we've been ignoring, but that are very real. And don't panic if you feel like all of this is moving too fast. Don't worry, rest assured. Humans are a natural brake on change. The inertia of our organizations is the last line of defense against evolution. We've invented bureaucracy and IT departments, which are particularly effective weapons in the fight against change. And let's not forget our own individual resistance biases. There's a very good chance we'll keep using the same archaic tools, the same old methods, and that all of this will happen very, very slowly. And if you fear a total takeover by the machines, remember this: there will always be pirates, resistors, people capable of fooling Google Maps by using a bunch of GPS devices to make it believe there's a traffic jam on an empty road. People capable of disabling self-driving car with nothing but a few traffic cones. To this day, product visions often start out bright and exciting, but in the end, operations sadly tend to water everything down until the result becomes underwhelming. I've built 2 startups, and when you're pitching to business angels, you can't escape that old saying that the idea doesn't matter and that what very counts is the team and the execution. And that phrase has always annoyed me. I believe the real major opportunity ahead of us is this: nothing will be able to stop a good idea from being built anymore. AI removes the constraint of feasibility. At least, what will truly matter is vision and value proposition, because now anyone will be able to create their own product with no more constraints. We'll finally be able to rely on what makes us truly human, something machines will never be able to replicate. Those impulses that have no rational basis, that no study could ever justify, and yet are often behind the very best products, or intuition.
Hey, psst, Mitch.
Yeah, tell me?
Time's almost up.
All right, you're right, but I think I'm done. I just wrapped up. Listen, here's what we'll do. I thank them, and you slowly bring up the music, okay?
All right, let's do that.
Thank you.